The tree trunks were polished. Bits of hair clung to the bark as if a large animal had been rubbing against them. Nevertheless, thought he, it is a good thing to see a park, put to good hard use by millions of people, used and handled in its every square inch like a bear garden. A 35-millimeter camera had been fitted to the telescope in place of the inline ocular, but a lateral eyepiece allowed him to lean over from time to time and take a squint. There sprang into view a section of the cornice of a building, no doubt one of the hotels along Central Park South. But so powerful was the instrument that it was hard to say which building was being looked at. It was as if the telescope created its own world in the brilliant theater of its lenses. He was waiting for the peregrine. The day before he had seen it but not photographed it. The falcon had abandoned its natural home in the northern wilderness and taken up residence on top of the hotel. From this eyrie it preyed on the fat pigeons of the park. Along the cornice it would strut, cock a yellow eye down at the great misty rectangle, the eye sunk and fierce in its socket and half eclipsed by the orbit of bone, and down it would come, smoking at 200 miles an hour, big feet stuck out in front like a stuka, strike the pigeons in mid-air with a thump and a blue flak burst of feathers. The peregrine did not return to his perch. As the young man made ready to unlimber his telescope, he loosened the thumbscrew and the barrel dropped to the horizontal. He took another look. Being of both a scientific and a superstitious turn of mind, and therefore always on the lookout for chance happenings which lead to great discoveries, he had to have a last look, much as a man will open a telephone book and read the name at his thumbnail. There, in the telescope, sat a woman on a park bench, a white woman, dark as a gypsy. She held a tabloid. Over her shoulder he read, "Parley fails." But when he looked up, he couldn't find her. The telescope was pointed toward the southeast, where a thicket of maples bordered the great meadow. She could only be there. Yes, now he saw. The telescope looked toward a leafy notch and through it to the summit of one of the little Alps which overlook the pond. There she was, not 20 feet away and shimmering slightly in the pressed optic air, as if she sat at the bottom of a sunlit ocean. Her coarse hair gave off rainbows. One arm was flung along the back of the bench, the hand smudged with newspaper ink. She was a neat, stocky woman with a shock of hair and a handsome, if somewhat meager face, like the face of an athlete, as if all strength and beauty had gone first to her body. The woman was doing something. The soiled left hand dropped behind the bench, where by any calculation of hers it could not be seen, for the bench sat on the slope of an alp, and there was nothing behind it but treetops. The blue hand felt its way down along a partition. It was an old-style bench, the sort built many years ago of a porous, tufa-like concrete, in which pebbles had been set like raisins in a cake. A sad, yellow 1901 concrete it was, enough to strike a pang to the heart. The seat was divided into thrones by scroll-shaped partitions which arched up and over to the rear, where they fastened the back into the bench. At the bottom the scroll was mortised into the bench by an ornamental tenon. Down crept the hand along the scroll. As he watched, the hand shattered into rainbows and disappeared. In another second the woman herself was gone, vanishing into the blue nimbus which rimmed the circle of light. It did not take him long to act. Often, nowadays, people do not know what to do, and so live out their lives as if they were waiting for some sign or other. This young man was such a person.